because you
Yeah.
grew up in this environment where it's gang infested, violence all around you, and then this traumatic event happens, and then you're sitting in this courtroom, and the judge gives you this. Like, how did you process that as a 13-year-old?
I remember sitting there just utterly flabbergasted,
Mm,
being like, wait, so you mean to tell me that because someone had a bad childhood,
wow.
that they are, not really, but kind of sort of allowed to engage in an unthinkable crime,
Yeah.
to violate one of the big 10 commandments,
Mm,
like thou shalt not murder.
mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
because they had a bad childhood, because they didn't grow up in a family like I grew up, that
Yeah.
we were close knit, we were sarcastic, I was always protected, I was always loved. We weren't financially well off, but we
Mm-hmm.
were always provided for.
Wow.
That he kind of gets off because of this bad childhood.
Wow.
Just utterly flabbergasted. But then, like I said, that gave me my life's mission. And
Mm,
so now I became a clinical child psychologist
yeah.
who specializes in the development of antisocial and aggressive behavior.
Wow.
And now that's what I treat, or that's what I
Yeah.
predominantly like to treat. There's a lot of anxiety going on right now. So thank you.
Yes, it is.
So I do
Yes, it
I
is.
do quite a bit of that. But because all of my clients now, every
Mm,
single one of my clients, even my anxious clients, even the couples I work with, they are either that murderer as a boy,
mm.
and I'm just trying to prevent another 11-year-old from losing her best friend.
Wow. How were you resilient? Like, you're young, you're growing up in this environment. What helped you be resilient in that time?
I think it really, honestly, it's the family. Like, I go
Mm,
back to it is the family. Like, I remember like my parents setting really good expectations like, hey, you are allowed to go out in this gang infested territory, but you have to be back at this time, or you have to
mm,
check in every 30 minutes. And
mm-hmm.
if you don't check in, like, we're coming searching for you.
Wow.
And I think the other big thing, and this is funny because it's the other major line of my research, is that I was a three-sport athlete my whole life.
Wow.
So, like, where I was engaging in like travel softball ever since I was 8, because that was something that I valued, it was something I enjoyed, it was something that I was good at. My
Mm-hmm.
parents wanted me to pursue it, and so they allowed me to do it as much as we financially could.
Mm.
And really think, and it took me away from the gang infested territory. And
Wow.
so, like, it gave me a positive outlook, and I was able to see and witness other people and surround myself with other people who weren't in the gang life or
Wow.
weren't in bad families,
Yeah.
and that were coming from, for the most part, like positive, high functioning, high quality families.
Wow. So the family dynamics kind of helped you persevere and be
Mm-hmm.
resilient. And then the sports.
Yes.
Wow. So I know, like, in my background growing up in Detroit, which is a similar environment, gang infested, violence all around. And I know for me being a track and field athlete, that was something that was, yeah, it was like a safe place for me.
Yeah.
And something else that it did is that it helped me see, because we traveled a lot. Just like you mentioned, you were in
Mm-hmm.
travel sports. We traveled a lot, and it helped me see that there was more than just that environment of Detroit, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And it helped me
And that
dream.
you could get out, and that
Yeah.
sports was a way, because we were good athletes, sports was a way to get out.
Yeah. So you serve as a clinical psychologist. So how does your experience inform, like, the way you serve, like, your clients? Do you think that there's a correlation there, or?
Oh, absolutely. So, like, because I know that I have no doubt in my mind, I don't know a lot about the person who murdered my brother,
Mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm,
his background,
mm-hmm.
but all I know is that it was, there was neglect and there was trauma and conflictual relationships. And so all I'm doing is I'm trying to help my young clients
Hmm.
develop individual coping skills so
Yeah.
that whatever is thrown at them, they can handle, that they can be resilient,
Yeah.
that no matter what adversity comes their way, they can overcome it through using coping skills. I'm also really focusing in on couples, like relationship skills. So
Okay.
those are kind of another big pillar that I focus in on, are relationship skills. So I've been working a lot with couples. And then another one is parenting, because parenting is huge. And I have no doubt in my mind, had the person who murdered my brother
Mm.
received individual coping skills, relationship skills, and
Yeah.
good parenting when he was growing up, instead of this crap that he received, he would have never murdered my brother.
Wow.
And so that's how I kind of approach it. And so I envision it. I try to put things in like a visual, as much visual as I possibly can, but I
Hmm.
talk about like building my client's fortress. And so
Mm.
it's like a three-sided fortress, one with individual skills, one with relationship skills, and one with parenting skills. And if I can help my clients and my couples and my families build up their fortress,
Mm.
well, then ain't nothing going to break them down, because it's a damn
Wow.
fort.
Yeah. So that fortress helps them cope and adjust to whatever traumatic things that they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because what's going to take down a fortress?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm out front running, oh yeah, yeah.